Now, are you ready? Let's go into the pattern of the 12 organ meridians, how they're arranged, and what they consist of. Now, the first basic thing you need to know is that there's 12 of them, not 10, 12 of them. I just don't have enough hands. So, in a year, we're going to cover all of the meridians. And I think you'll be proud of yourself because you're going to have enough time to assimilate this body of information. Much more than my students for the last 30, 35, 40 years who took a weekend workshop with me on the meridians, crash course. Now, I'm sure you could sympathize why they felt a little bit overwhelmed. That they got what I'm going to give you in a year's time, they got in a weekend workshop. Well, it was good. They got all the information, but they had a harder time assimilating it. You're going to be able to assimilate and bring it into your being and very easily into your practice and into your daily life. So that's why I'm excited. Now I want you to understand how they're paired together. Well, they're paired together because I hope this makes sense to you. Every yang meridian is paired with a yin meridian. That is correct. So that each meridian that flows one way, it's paired up with one that flows the other way. Correct. And in traditional Chinese medicine, these pairs are considered like the relationship of husband and wife. Now, I mean husband and wife when a husband and wife are in harmony with each other. They may have some roles to play, but their roles are complementary. They speak to one another. They communicate. They vibrate. They work together in life. These pairs of meridians, and hopefully husbands and wives all across the country are in harmony with one another. Okay, what's the rest of the story? The rest of the story is that there's many reasons why meridians are paired up. Just by touching like this is one example. The lung meridian is paired up with the large intestine meridian. Why? Because one meridian flows into the other. That's another reason why they're paired. So I'm going to be talking to you about the traditional Chinese medical body clock. And you're going to see that when one meridian ends, another meridian begins. And what I want you to really get right this very moment, is that these meridians, because one flows into the other, and there's 12 of them, it really is one flow. It's one flow that completes its flow within 24 hours. And we'll get into that. That's my introduction to the tradition, to the body clock. It's fascinating, it's wonderful, I'm excited. But right now, we're talking about why are these meridians paired together? They're paired together not only because one flows into the other, but there's these little interconnected branches called lobes. So between the lung meridian and the large intestine meridian, there's a little branch here. And there's a point here and a point here, and those are called the low points. I'm going to teach those to you in this course. So the low points help to connect the energies between the partners. There's another reason why they're partnered together, is because they function well together. They function naturally together, like the stomach and the spleen. Oh, they're located close to one another, organ-wise, but also the stomach and the spleen, when you bring them together, they govern digestion. So if somebody has indigestion, of course you'll work on the stomach and spleen meridians, and of course you'll want to know where they flow, and you'll want to know what are the most potent points on these meridians. And that's exactly what you're going to be learning in this course. So another reason that the meridians are paired together is that there are very specific correlations, aspects of life, that both meridians correspond with, join together to create that aspect. Let me give you an example. Like in the 5 elements, there are certain seasons, certain tastes. So for instance, the taste that stimulates the liver is sour. And it stimulates the liver meridian and its partner, the gallbladder. Now the gallbladder secretes the gall for the liver. They work together, and that's why they're paired together. Okay? And I could give you hundreds of examples, but I think you're getting my basic point that there's 6 meridians, so let's go over it. For yin meridians, there's the heart, the spleen, lung, kidney, liver, and pericardium. Those are the 6 yin meridians. Now, they're paired with yang meridians. The heart is paired with SI, small intestine. The spleen is paired with its partner, the stomach. Both of them happen to be S's. Just helps me to remember it. Also helps me to remember that the stomach and the spleen are located in just below the rib cage. But so does the liver and gallbladder. They're located. These are digestive organs. They have different digestive functions. Now the kidney meridian is paired with the bladder meridian. Bladder is a sac that stores the urine, and when it gets full enough, you're ready to pee, and the urine is excreted. But how did it even get into that little sac? It had to be filtered by its partner. The sac is the bladder, and its partner is the kidney. And the kidney has nephrons that actually, when you drink water, it goes through your system and it filtrates and detoxifies, and then the urine goes in and gets stored in the bladder, and so they work together, right? Okay, good. You got it. Now the lung's partner is the large intestine. Look, take a deep breath right now. It's good to breathe. And exhale. You just brought in air. Do it again. And then when you're letting it out, bringing in and letting go. That's your lungs. Well, its partner does the same thing. It brings in the waste materials, and then hopefully it lets them go and eliminates. That's the large intestine. Lungs, large intestine. And both together govern and control your skin. So if somebody has a problem with their skin, you would work on those 2 meridians, the lungs and large intestine. You can think of it this way. I love to give you ways to remember all this information. Look, the lungs breathe. You breathe. Come on, take a deep breath. You'll learn better, you'll feel better, all that kind of stuff. The lungs breathe. So does the pores of the skin. Oh, so skin and lungs and large intestine are linked together. Yes. So if somebody has complexion, they have acne or something like that, yes, you would work with the lungs and large intestine, not only the meridian, but aspects to the meridian which you're going to be learning that relate to that meridian. Like, hey, if somebody has skin disorder, they would get a lot out of breathing exercises. The same thing is true with if somebody has constipation. They would get a lot out of doing breathing exercises because it relates to the lungs and large intestine. You see how interconnected this gets? It's fascinating, and it's so useful in terms of working with people and helping people wherever you go. And that's why I love teaching this. And you know, you have a month to go over this material again and again. And for me, it's repetition that enables me to learn it. Do you know that it took me 2 years to learn, just to start to feel like I was getting a grasp on this stuff? And then, so I'm giving you a year, and if you feel like, wow, I think I'm just starting to get it, then you're twice as fast as I was. I mean it. It's true. I remember. And then there's the pericardium meridian and the triple warmer. They're paired together also. Okay. So we've already covered the anatomical arrangement of the meridians. You know, when I said anatomically, all the yin meridians circulate, you know, from the chest through the inside of the hand on both sides. And then the yang meridians circulate from the fingertips and flow down, go through the shoulders, the neck, through the sides of the head, and then the yang, there's another 3 yang meridians that go from the head all the way down the sides of the body, the back of the body. These are the yang meridians, and they go through the outside of the legs, 3 of them, and they go down through the tops of the feet into the toes. So the yang meridians of the legs are going to flow from the head all the way down to the toes, anatomically. And you just learned that. Now the yin meridians of the legs are going to flow from the toes, anatomically, all the way up the insides of the legs. Happens to be the spleen, kidney, and liver meridians. And they flow all the way up. They go actually into those internal organs. Might as well as you flow up. Actually, did you know that's the reason why the meridians are named after these internal organs? This is important. It's because the meridian, if you have the large intestine meridian, eventually that meridian is going to, this is the surface of the meridian. It's where we can tap into it. So it's not, when I say surface, it's not like, oh, this is just surface. It's not just surface. It's important. It's potent to us because we can tap into the energies of it. Okay, I'm talking about large intestine. I'm giving you an example of how the large intestine meridian flows like this and crosses over right here and then ends here, a point called welcoming perfume. And then it goes internally. And where do you think it's going to go? It's going to go into the large intestine to nurture it, to nourish it. If it's blocked, if the points along the channel is blocked, the energy is going to be impeded, it's going to be inhibited, it's going to be blocked. Like a garden hose, it has a kink in it, and the water isn't able to get through into nurturing that garden. The garden that we're talking about is our internal organs. But if it's flowing, then the large intestine is going to be happy, healthy, and whole. Or what the yogis would call holy. So, if the energy is flowing, then your large intestine and your colon is going to be working fine. You're going to be eliminating fine. You're not going to have irritable bowel syndrome, colitis, or constipation. No, because you've worked on your meridians. This is really fascinating to study the meridians, because there's a lot, so much connected. And I'm so excited to share it with you.